Hi, hello. This video is going to be about how to complete the lessons in Earth and Environmental Science on Canvas. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit longer than the other two videos, but it will be very helpful for you when you're doing your remote lessons. Okay, so this is a home page for Earth and Environmental Science. And you'll see up here, click on the burgundy box below to complete the first day's assignment, which if you're watching this video, you have already seen and done. And you clicked on that and it went to these three videos and with the quizzes. Okay, once again, my name is Janine Kuby, and you do pronounce the E at the end of the name. Here was your attendance that you will submit a form for every day that you're remote during the class time period between 11:30 and 1:05. Okay, now on Canvas, if you notice over here, you have home. Now this always takes you back to the home page, right? So you can find the attendance if you forgot to do that, or you can find access to links or to the lessons and grades and various things. Announcements, when I make an announcement, say a test is coming up or something like that, it'll be in there and there'll be a little indicator there to let you know that there's an announcement to read there. Grades here are how you can access your grades in Canvas so that you can see if you completed an assignment. Now the grades in Canvas are not your official grades. They are just in Canvas. Your official grades are in PowerSchool. All right. So, but from these grades, from the grade screen, you'll be able to see feedback on your quizzes and your assignments. And you'll be able to see whether you submitted that or not. If you couldn't remember if you did or not, that's a good place to go for grades. But you definitely want to go there for your feedback. If you miss something, you want to know the correct answer and correct that misunderstanding before you get to the test or before you move on. You'll get to see that in the feedback. Okay, here you have view course stream. All right, view course calendar, view course notifications. Course notifications will be good here. This is where I'll make announcements to you, like welcome to the course type thing. When things are due, they'll be listed down here in to-do list. Right now, since the course hasn't started, nothing's in there. But tomorrow when you come, there will be some things in there. Okay, going down here, we've got our class. Okay, so our class runs from 11:30 to 1:05. Our lunch starts at 1:05, and we'll be going upstairs for lunch. And then after you finish lunch, we'll probably go outside for a little bit. We do have 40 minutes, so that's a good time for lunch. It's a very good time. It's double what it often has been for lunch in high school. I do have fifth block planning, right? And so when you're working remotely, that's the time when I'll look over the remote material, answer any questions that students have submitted, and it's a good time if you want to reach me through email or through other ways that we'll talk about in class that you find are a good way to contact teachers, whether it be Remind or something like that. Okay, my email is jkuby@randolph.k12.nc.us. All right, so in the syllabus, I already went over course description, so we're not going to do that here. Now here on Canvas, here are links to more information, right? And so the course is based on the North Carolina science standards for earth science. Okay, and so if you're ever interested, you can look through here and see what those standards are, and it's just basically the topics and things. Okay, for example, we're starting with measurements, and that's not on here. That's a given. Those are skills that you need to know in order to complete earth science, and you'll use them in other sciences as well. But our first unit will be on earth. Here, Earth in the universe, explain the Earth's role as a body in space. So that's, Earth's place in space, right? And that's the standards that we need to meet, the topics I need to cover with you. And then beyond that, I have, they give teachers more specifically what they want covered under those topics. All right, so that's more if you're just interested. I still have my class web page you need to think of more of the class web page as more of just a storage locker for you. You'll be accessing things through Canvas, not really through the web page. The time that you might use a web page is when you're doing a study guide and you want to go back and look at an old PowerPoint or something to look at some information to complete that study guide. Okay, so this is where you would go for that. So this is our first unit, scientific measurements. It's set up. I've set up Canvas just like my web page so that they mirror each other for the most part. Instead of videos being embedded in assignments, instead they're on display here. I use this more as a place to store the information, and then I link it over into Canvas. But you can see the metric system PowerPoints in there. For the most part, you probably won't need this unless you want to come back and look through PowerPoints. Okay, so anytime with Canvas, when you click on something, when you click on one of the links, pay attention to up here whether you have a back arrow or not. If you don't have a back arrow, then you just close the window and you'll go back to what page you were on Canvas. We have an arrow here, and so it should take us back to Canvas. Oh no, it will take us back to the Earth page, the main Earth Science page. Okay, since I moved when I was in this page to another page. Okay, so now there isn't an arrow up here in the upper left-hand corner. So I'm just going to close that window, and I'm back at the Canvas page. All right, here is a class pacing guide. Now, this pacing guide is set up for a normal semester. Think of this more, if you're ever looking at it and wondering where we're going, as more of a sequence of events. Don't go by specific dates anymore. We're already going to be off pace because this is not when we're going to test, because we are doing a class introduction day for remote, and then we need to wait and make sure everyone's able to do these lessons. And so we won't, we'll be behind on this. So you don't really need to worry about that too much. I don't have a back arrow. I'm going to close the window out, and I'm back at the Canvas. Okay, this is a helpful little link that I added for you. It is the school calendar. Okay, so this will let you know like when our next holiday from school is, and it will let you know when interim reports is. Everything's going to run a little bit slow in these videos because I am recording the computer as I'm doing this, so that makes everything run a little bit slow. Yours should load faster. Okay, but if we look down at the calendar, here is today, August 17th. And if you looked back up at August 17th, it's squared, right? So it says first day of school. All right, so our first holiday is here in blue, and it's September 7th, and it's Labor Day. Okay, here's our first progress report, September 17th. It will always have an I for that. For September 17th, interim reports, which are the progress reports. All right, so that's a helpful link. No arrow, so close out the window. Here's a bell schedule. In case you forget the times. I mean, I have the times for the class on that homepage, but maybe other teachers don't. And so this is really big. I'm going to it opens really large font, so I'm going to shrink it down. All right, so here's the bell schedule for all the blocks. You may be wondering as freshmen why third block is not there. During normal school years, we have what's called swag, and it's like a homeroom. And you go there each day. It's enrichment. We do different things each day, and we have clubs, and they're one day of the week, and that type of thing. Because we extended lunch, because of the issues with the lunch due to COVID, the other requirements that are involved, we're just using that extra time for lunch. And so your enrichment, you're signed up for my class, which is the lunchtime. Okay, so lunch times for when you go on to next semester, it'll vary during fourth block. They'll all occur during fourth block. But that's why there's no third block. All right. Okay, so no arrow, close out the box. Okay. And then let's go down here. So when you want to access the lessons, they're going to be down here in the units. Okay, and so right now we're in scientific measurements. All right, so you'll click on the image for scientific measurement unit. Okay, and this is the scientific measurement like introduction page. All right, although you might see on the home page when you do have to-do lists, you'll see assignments listed. Don't go through that because that will put them out of order and you won't do as well on them if you haven't listened to the PowerPoint first or watched the video first type stuff. So come through this way. Always come through this way. All right, so on this page, this is where you have access to the Quizlet. Okay, that for this unit, and there'll always be the Quizlet for any unit that we're in. Okay, so when you go onto Quizlet, I'm sure you have done Quizlets in other classes. So this will change a little bit I'll change this after that video. It should just take you straight to the Quizlet. There's not an assignment with this Quizlet. This is for you to study with on your own. Okay, so you'll be having a vocabulary quiz sometime next week, before the end of the unit. It might be the week after that. All right, and so when you come to Quizlet, you have these flashcards, which are a good way to study, especially if you're doing this on your phone. But you have all the terms listed with their definitions. Okay, your vocabulary quiz will always use these exact definitions. All right, now a good way to study, you can play the games, of course, in any way that you like to, but a good way to study is with this test. Doing practice tests for yourself. Okay, so when you click on tests, all right, it'll generate a practice test for you. All right, now I've already done a video on this before, and so I've already changed my settings. But when you get it, and you can't see it right now because of this box, if you click under the print test, it says options, test options, okay? So come here, and when you open this up, all these will be in yellow. Okay, what you want to do is unclick all of them except for multiple choice. You just want to take it in multiple choice because that's how the vocabulary quiz is going to be, and so why not practice the real vocabulary quiz? But also, if it's in written, you have to type in the exact spelling along with capitalize the word or not. So why mess with all that? Let's just do multiple choice. Make sure your number of questions matches the terms. All right, so there's 30 questions, so we want 30 questions in there. 30 of 30 questions. And then once you've done that, just hit create new test. All right, and it generates a multiple choice test. You can just click on the answers and take it until, all right, so take the whole quiz, go down to the bottom, check your answers. Once you do that, you'll get a score. Whatever I clicked on was wrong. You'll get a score here, and you'll be able to see what you missed. Right, so you can review those terms again. Right, and then take a quiz again, generate a new test, and just keep doing that until you're getting hundreds. And then you'll for sure get 100 on the vocabulary quiz and be able to boost your grade, which is a great thing. All right, so this time there is an arrow there, and I want to go back to homepage. But look here, you can just click here and go to homepage as well. All right, so we were down in scientific measurements. Give it time to fix itself. Okay, there we go. So we were down here on this main page in scientific measurements. All right, there is an extra credit assignment, which I will explain later after we do metric measurements, because you're going to be measuring your volume of your body through volume displacement method. And so you have to understand what the volume displacement method is, right? This is directions on how to capture an image, a screen image. So you'll have some assignments where I'm asking you to capture an image that you completed, like a crossword puzzle online, and I want you to capture that you did that and insert that in as your submission. Okay, so you'll need to know how to do this, right? So this is in a PDF, so I can shrink it so it's easier to read or follow or scroll through. Okay, so what you would do is just follow these directions. You'll click on, down here on my screen, anyway, on my computer, down here to go to your files. Everything's going to take a long time, so I'm not going through all this, but you see how that comes up. All right, and then Snip and Sketch is first because I use it a lot. Okay, so you go find Snip and Sketch. If you don't use it a lot, it's under S. All right, so find the windows, and this is what the general window opens like. All right, and then you'll go to Snip Now. Your screen will turn dark, and you'll have a little arrow. You'll have a little like cross will come up, plus sign, I guess, and you draw it around what you want to snip, okay, what you want to capture. And then this box will generate, and then you can either save it, which is the little floppy disk, or copy it, right? So you want to save it to insert into your Canvas submissions, right? So to save your image, click on the icon of the floppy disk. Select your place on your computer where you want to save it. If you're working on the school Chromebooks, you're going to need to save it to the desktop, right? And you can delete it later once you've submitted your assignment, but save it on the desktop. Okay, change the name of the file because it will just come up with some annotation, random numbers. Change the name so you know what it is and it's easier to find. And then save it as a PNG, which it automatically will default to PNG anyway, so you shouldn't have to mess with that. And that's just saving it as an image, okay? And then it's there when you want to insert it into your Canvas assignment. Okay, so if you have questions about that, email me and I can do a video just going over how to do that, where I actually show it for you. But let's go ahead and move on. All right, so the next thing on here is we have the schedules for the different groups. All right, so we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, Group A, well, everyone's starting with an introduction to class in Canvas. The Group A, during class, you'll be doing Canvas, doing this assignment in Canvas, right? Sorry. Made my cat jump too. All right, just a minute, let me get a drink. Okay, so Group B and fully remote, you'll be doing this remotely. So you'll click on your lesson for the day, and it would take you to what we're doing right now. I'm not going to click on that one. On Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday, Group A will be doing Lab Day in class. So they don't have a link because they'll be in class and they won't be on the computer. Group B will be starting with a metric system, and so we'll fully remote. Okay, and this is what I meant by the flipped classroom. See how it's Introduction to Class Lab Day. Not a very good week to show this because of this introduction to class. I'm not going to redo the same lesson for Group B when they come. So they'll be doing density. But for the most part, it'll be these 2 days for Group A will be the same as what these two do for Group B. Okay, and these will be the same for Group A as it is for Group B. The fully remote, you'll be doing a little bit different, and that's why you have the ACT prep and these two don't, because you won't be able to do the lab day. And so I wasn't going to assign you more course material, and this would be something just for your general knowledge and to help you with your general skills, math, English skills. Okay, so let's click on one of the lessons. So let's go to the metric system lesson. Now, one thing about all these lessons is that They're asking us, because the students are all working at different paces depending upon whether they're remote in class or fully remote. They've asked us just to make everything due at the end of the week. All right, and so when you see due, it'll be at the end of the week. The plan or the ideal is for you to do one lesson a day. Okay, but if you are the type that you want to go through and do all the lessons in one day, that's okay. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and stop you from doing that if that's what you want to do. I think you'll get more out of it doing each day because your brain will be fresh and you won't be just getting tired of it by the end. But, it's up to you. We'll give you that choice. Okay, so this is how a typical lesson will look. So this is lesson on the metric system. If you notice here, it has the words engage, explain, explore, evaluate, and extend. That's something that the county is wanting us to do. And what this means is this is a little introduction activity. This is where the bulk of the lessons coming in, the PowerPoint, and you have I can statements, which we'll explain in a minute. Explore, this is when you're actually going to be applying the concepts that we went over in this PowerPoint. And then evaluate. Every lesson ends with a review quiz. Just 10 multiple choice questions. So that's how you know you've been that lesson for the day. Even if it goes on to the next day because I have to keep it open, the lesson ends that day with the review quiz. Okay, and so let's just see how we submit things in Canvas. Okay, and so this is going to be this unit of measurements, video, and questions. When it pops up, this is how your assignment will look. All right, and so you have directions. It's telling you the points. Right now there's no due date, but there will be the 21st in there when you do open this. There's 7 questions on the quiz, and it's worth 14 points. There's no time limit on there. Okay, so what you need to do is watch the measurement video and then take the quiz. Right, and so there's a short little quiz, video that's only 3 minutes long, a little over 3 minutes long. Okay, and it is Scholastic Study Jams video.
Can you believe my soccer team's going to Italy? You are
so
lucky. Yeah.
Occasionally in Earth Science, you probably saw these in middle school, occasionally, and maybe elementary school, but occasionally in Earth Science, I'll put these on there just because they are short, sweet, to the point, and they will cover points that we're studying during this lesson. Okay, so once you watch that video, then you're going to take the quiz. Right. Okay, so here's the quiz, and here it's telling you, listing the questions, and that there are 7 questions. Okay, so we've already done that video. You don't have to watch that video again. Here are the questions down here. All right, so what are 2 major systems of measurement? Well, let's just say customary and temperature. Okay, so you click on what it is, and you click next to go to the next question. Right, now when you are ready to submit, you've answered all the questions. See how when you answered that question, that turned black, so you know you answered it. All right, now I'm not going to go through all and answer everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and submit quiz. All right, so it's telling me that box comes up and it says you have 6 unanswered questions. See that right sidebar? Okay, do you want to submit anyway? Well, we're going to cancel because we didn't answer them all. And we can go here and click on the specific questions that we didn't answer, like here's question 3. All right, and so what is customary unit? Okay, let's say gallon. All right, and I'm going to hit next, and I'll take the next question. Or right now I'm going to hit submit quiz. I think I have to wait for that to finish. Okay, so I'm going to hit submit quiz so you can see what it looks like after it's closed. Okay, this time I'm going to just click OK. I don't care if I've answered them or not. Okay. All right, so now it has, if we look down at the bottom, you won't receive correct answers. What you will see is what you scored. So we scored 0 out of 14. We didn't get anything right. That's our score. That's what will show up in Canvas when you look at grades. But you can go into Canvas grades, and it'll give you feedback on what you missed. It's still not going to tell you the correct answer. Or will it? Yes, it will. When you get feedback, individualized feedback in grades, when you initially go there, you'll just see the score still. But after I look at it, I will provide you specific individualized feedback. That'll help explain to you what concepts you missed. And that way you can correct it. You can correct your thinking before you go on and take the test. You don't have to go on misunderstanding something. Okay, but you won't be able to see that feedback until during my planning period. All right, so, but what you will see immediately is just your overall score. Okay, so just look at the grades, maybe in the evening, or after my planning period, sometime after my planning period. Okay, but there may be times where I have to do other stuff during the planning period. I may not get to it that time. So look at it the next day or something. Just check your grades periodically and look at that feedback. If I'm finding that, you're not looking at it, then I'm going to stop giving that feedback, because it does take a while for me to put that feedback together. And so just let me know if that's not helpful to you. Then I'll stop doing that. I'm still not going to give you the correct answers, though. So, okay. Okay, so where are we? So we've submitted this quiz. All right, so now we want to go to the next lesson. Well, you don't have to go back to that first page. You can just click next, and it'll take you to the next assignment. All right, so the next assignment is going to be the PowerPoint and I can statement. And so this will be a good way for us to see how we're submitting assignments. All right, and so as you see here, when we look at directions, if you'd like to listen to the PowerPoint being explained, as you read through the PowerPoint, click on the blue box. If not, ignore the blue box. All right, so right now there's just a blue box, and it's just audio that you can listen to as you read through the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint you access down here. All right, before this lesson's assigned, I'll also have a little YouTube video explaining the metric system PowerPoint so that you have a visual as well. You can just watch that as well. Okay, so you have 3 different methods that you can learn this information by. You can read it and listen to it while you read it. You can watch a video of me explaining it as I go through the PowerPoint, or you can just read through the PowerPoint. And I'm going to leave that up to you. For myself, like I know when there's like a news article I'm reading online and they'll have a video, say it's from a news station, I always close out that video. I would rather read it. If they have a transcript available, I'd rather read the transcript. And that's me. But other people, they like to hear it. They remember better what they hear. Other people, they need the visual. They want to hear and see a visual of it. And so you could watch the video of it. So all 3 methods should be there. All right, but what you want to do, say you want to read it, you're going to open the PDF for the PowerPoint on the metric system. And then you're going to, as you go through the PowerPoint, pay attention to the I can statements. Here's the I can statements right here. All right, so we want to pay attention to these I can statements and look for that information, because that's what you're going to be answering. You're going to be answering those I can statements and submitting that as an assignment for an assignment grade. Okay, and you're going to be typing in your answers. So I'll show you how to do that when we get there. All right, so remember, pay attention to I can statements. Define the term matter and explain how it's related to atoms. Okay, so let's open up the PowerPoint. See how these look. Now it will come up as a PDF. So again, if you don't want it this large, you want to be able to scroll through it faster, just make it smaller. Or if you need it larger to be able to see it, make it larger. Okay, there's the introduction slide. Now here's the I can statements again. I can define matter and explain its relationship to atoms. Okay, so we want to be able to define matter and explain how it relates to atoms. Right? Well, here's matter right away. Matter refers to anything that has mass and takes up space. Matter is the stuff all around you. Right? So, but here we've got the definition. Matter refers to anything that has mass and takes up space. All right, and how does it relate to atoms, though? Because that was the other part. Well, all matter is made up of atoms and can exist as a solid, liquid, or gas. So we probably don't need that last part right there. But we do want to, how matter relates to atoms. All matter is made up of atoms. So we're able to answer that first I can statement. All right, so this window's up. I don't want to close it down because I'm coming back to it. But I can just scroll over here, look over here, and find the window. All right, and so now I want to go ahead and I want to start typing in my answers. So I'm going to hit submission at the top of the page. All right, and this, I think it's called a smart editor is there. Here's the I can statements listed again. Number 1 was define the term matter and explain how it's listed to atoms. All right, now one thing about these directions on this, I am asking you to type in your answers, making sure to click on the number button so that each of your answers correspond to the I can statement. It'll make it easier for me to read, easier for me to grade, and find your right answers. I'm not going to read through and look all over everything. So just do this. All you got to do is click on that and it comes up as number 1. So remember what the I can statement was. Define the term matter. All right, so matter refers to anything that has mass and takes up space. And then the second one was how did it relate to atoms? So I'm just going to put that as another sentence, but it's still in question 1. Right, so matter is made up of atoms. There we go. All right, so we're done and we can go on to the second one. All right, so the second one was explain the difference between mass and weight. So we would just go back to the PowerPoint. I clicked on the other window and we would find that answer as we read through this. Now we still want to read through this and get the other information because this other information, even though it's not the I can statement, it is going to be in the review quiz. So you still want to read the other information. The I can statements are for you to focus on the main points as you read through this PowerPoint, right? That's what they're for, okay? That's why I'm asking you to do that, so that we're helping you focus in on the main points, on how to meet the main points. Now, when you're in class and going over this is going to be your note guide, right? Okay, because it's the main points. Okay, so we've done this. Let's say we've answered all of them and we want to submit now. So we're going to come down here and click on the submit assignment. And when you submit it, this is my favorite part of all this. When it's been submitted, confetti will rain down. Yay. And this always happens on any assignment you submit to let you know your assignment successfully submitted. Okay? So that's how we do that. How we do assignments. So we've gone over how to do assignments and how to do quizzes. And in Canvas, those are your main 2. Going back to let me go back to home because I want to go back to that main page. I can keep hitting through the previous buttons, but sorry, you won't get this. This is I'm trying to get back. I'm sorry about this. Okay. I don't know why that gave me access tonight. I might have hit on account instead of the home page for some reason. Okay, so I'm back here and I want to go back to. I'm just doing this because I want to show you, point out how the points are awarded for these Canvas lessons. All right, so and we're on the metric system. All right, so every one of your lessons, because Canvas is in points, PowerSchool is in percentage. What I did with the Canvas lessons was I made sure that all of your assignments for each day equal 100 points. All right, and so this one was 14. This was 16. Where you're converting the metric system is 30 points. Where you're taking the review quiz is 40 points. That's always going to be about 40 points. 10 questions, 4 points each. That equals 100. Right, and that is easy to see to change it into a percentage. So let's say you get 85 points. That'll be 85%. So what will show up in your power score will be lesson on the metric system, 85%. Okay? So if you have questions about that, again, email me or put it in the attendance questions on that last question. All right, so that ends this video for how to go through Canvas. As we work through this week, you may have more questions, and this week's going to be basically about how to resolve any issues we run into, something that I assumed you would know and maybe you didn't know or something like that. So, and we'll work it out. It's okay. It's okay. We will get through this. All right. So